Reverend
Oh my
Ariel Patricia.
gosh.
So before we begin, let me do a
Yes.
right and proper intro
Okay.
so that everyone understands and knows who Reverend Ariel Patricia is, who I have been having the delicious pleasure of working with for some delicious creations that are coming up. Reverend Ariel Patricia felt the calling to found Sacred Stories Publishing and Media after a series of events changed the course of her life. Since then, she has been on a heart based mission to help others share their wisdom and sacred stories of transformation. Ariel is an ordained interfaith minister from One Spirit, New York. Yes, Ariel, in New York? One
Yep.
Spirit?
One
Yep.
spirit. Learning Alliance. Yep. And down in New York City.
New
Absolutely.
York City, proudly served 6 years as a sergeant in the U.S. Marine Corps. When I read that, I said, "Oh, that's where all those good organizing skills comes from, and execution skills come from." And has a Master of Arts in Education and a Bachelor of Science in Business. She is the author of 2 books, sharing her personal journey with spirit, and is the co-author of 4 books. Now, as both sacred storyteller and visionary businesswoman, I love the melding of that. Sacred storyteller and visionary businesswoman. Ariel is the mystic behind the Common Sentience book series and Sacred Stories publishing and media. Her leadership in the fields of publishing, broadcasting, and online learning has put Sacred Stories Publishing and Media on the map as a conscious business enterprise with a soul for helping humanity prosper and expand our spiritual awareness. Welcome, Reverend Ariel Patricia. Ariel, welcome. Oh my goodness, I'm so happy.
Yay! Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. This is wonderful.
This
So,
is delicious. And
mhm.
really briefly, where are you coming from now? Because we know that you're traveling all over the world. I told the fam you're traveling all over the world.
I'm currently in Thailand. We landed in Thailand last week, and I was listening earlier. You were talking about Bali. We'll be in Bali next month, so I'm so excited. So Thailand is incredible, just really off the charts, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. So I'm sure I'm going to have a story or two by the time my experience here is complete.
I love that. So we've got some questions. Let's dive into our delicious experience. So we want to talk common sentience. So we've all had these experiences. We just want to give the everyone here, family, a little background about common sentience. We want to get into this and into what it is and what's going on here, so you can really have a deep dive understanding into what Reverend Ariel Patricia is bringing to the world, and how you can be a part of it. That's really the very fun part of this. That we've all
Hmm.
had these mystical experiences, glimpses into consciousness beyond the 5 senses, and as Ariel says, that in a sacred moment, a flash of truth or taste of grace moves through us. These very mystical experiences, and our world is expanded and something is revealed, illumined, and felt. And that when we come back to our daily lives, we've changed. These transcendent experiences are becoming more increasingly common sentience. So it makes sense to finally claim and honor the next level of consciousness we're expanding into, sharing grounded wisdom and our intimate encounters, which is what I really love about this book. These books, they're grounded, and they share intimate encounters with the greater reality. The Common Sentience book series pens hearts, affirms our innate essence, and transforms our world. Now, this is a first of its kind book series that celebrates the mystical experiences that we're having as spiritual beings. These mystical experiences are happening all over the world. And each book in this series is anchored by a renowned thought leader on the spiritual phenomenon who shares their deep knowledge and their personal stories. Now, they're joined by dozens of contributing sacred storytellers. That's you, family, that's you. You are invited to be a sacred storyteller. And you're going to see a lot of the sacred storytellers in this book series coming up over the next few weeks and months, which I'm so happy about. And you've had these profound spiritual experiences and you feel compelled to share them with others. That's one of the things I love about this book series. This is a collective, this is a collaborative work. Read one or all of these books in our Uncommon series and feel the presence of the divine in and all around you. And so before we go to our first question, in the Common Sentience, can you tell us a little bit about you and Common Sentience and Sacred Stories? And I'm going to bring it up on screen share too.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. So, it's interesting because, well, I'm just going to hold up something that I felt compelled to share. It's on my desk, but this is a piece of Nocophilia, and Nocophilia is an all-healing mother tree in Cape Town, South Africa. And a couple months ago, I was actually in South Africa for a month, and someone said, "You're in South Africa, you should go meet Nocophilia." And she's hundreds of years old. She's actually world renowned, really. Dr. Emoto has been to visit her. Desmond Tutu has been to visit her. Princes and princesses have been to visit her. And her mystery and lore is, stories. Actually, we're going to have an article in the upcoming issue after your feature about Nocophilia. And the reason I'm holding this up is because I did go to meet Nocophilia in person, and I met her human custodians, or friends that are caring for her. And I had, of course, an incredible experience with Nocophilia, and I received beautiful downloads, lots of information, and she even showed me a lifetime that we had had together. And I was a Black woman in Africa, and Southern Africa with her. And the reason I bring this up is because this is very real, and the custodians, Dawn and Ian, said, because you don't ever take anything unless you ask permission, we would like you to carry Nocophilia with you, a piece of Nocophilia with her. The bark had fallen off. We didn't take it off of her. And I was so honored, and I do. And her energy goes with me places. And just like we bring crystals, or we do different things at different places to connect more deeply, to honor, you're talking about Southeast Asia. So this is our part of our connection. This is who we are. We are mystical beings, and I'm just as close to Nocophilia with the energy of her with me here as if she was a person standing next to me. And that is, to me, what is not talked about enough, that isn't shared enough, that those are those circles we try to find, or those are those people that we try to kind of get it, because people feel uncomfortable sharing this. People feel uncomfortable showing up authentically and saying, I have a deep connection with the natural world. I have a deep connection with the angelic realm. I have a deep connection with the star family. I've had these experiences happen to me. I know, Valerie, yourself, you had said that, in your childhood, a lot of that you were told that was wrong, or that is something you shouldn't do. And so this is just a tiny, tiny, tiny example of what is happening in this world with the support, seen and unseen, that we have with the sentient beings that are all around us, that we communicate with, and that they communicate with us as well. So I say it's time to bring the mystical to the mainstream. It's time to have these conversations. It's time to allow people the opportunity to dive in and not feel like there's something wrong with them, or they're ashamed, or they feel they're going to be judged. It's time for us as mystical beings of light to claim it and share it. And that's what this Common Sentience book series has been. This is what I feel that I've been called to steward for all of us, is this book series that allows us, that shares, as you said, the grounded wisdom, anchors the grounded wisdom, and brings forth the collective experience through story that so many of us are having.
Yes, and as you speak of it, we're going to bring it up, Common Sentience. And here is the book series. And can you see it on the screen? Can everyone see it on the screen? Just
I can see it. Mm-hmm.
okay, great. And this is at sacredstories.com, and you just go here to Common Sentience. And one thing that there's so much I love about this download
Me
scene.
too.
It's so much I love about it. So what do you want to say about it before we go further?
Well, so far these are the first 14 books in the series. I will say that the series will grow. So the idea is that we want to take all the different ways that we connect, and we connect differently. We're different beings, I believe, from different places in the universe. So even though we're all here together, we have our main points of connection, our main points of resonance, and we can have more than one. But the idea is that this is a very big playground, and I want us to all to be able to play together. So whether your connection is through nature or through sound or through the Akashic records or through your experience as a witch or through the angelic realm, all of it, spirit animals, this is the beginning of it. I have many other books planned beyond this. So the idea is to take each individual spiritual phenomenon, pair it with a wisdom teacher that can provide the grounding, the information, so people kind of know the who, what, when, where, how. How does this phenomenon work? How does it connect with us? How do we connect with it, right? Really, so we're not just out there ungrounded, because that doesn't help anybody, right? And it gives us that framework that we have and can feel safe within, so we can explore more freely and deepen our resonance with the spiritual phenomenon. So each one of these has the wisdom, and then each one of it, it's not enough to just read about stuff. It's the experience of it that takes everything to another level. So it's not only the wisdom, it's all of these experiences, true stories that you can read, which I know will bring on experiences for people. And then the really cool part about it is part 3 of the book. Every book is 3 parts. Part 3 of the book is, again, back to the main wisdom teacher, like Valerie is for the book Witch, and sharing processes, deepening practices, things that you can do if this phenomenon resonates with you or you're having these experiences, to deepen your own experience with it. So we start out by giving you the foundation, and you experience it, and then you can deepen into it. And every book will do that. So you can read one, you can read as many as you're drawn to just expand our awareness, all of our awareness, as much as possible. And the reason this is important, I have to say this, and I try to say it every time, the reason this is so important, I believe, is that it's not just because it's really cool, but it is. It's really cool, and it's really fun, super fun, right? To widen our experience beyond the 3-dimensional world that's in front of us, to really step into the authenticity of our divine essence. But I believe the reason that it's very important, and why I invite everyone to do this, and why I've made Common Sentience really a main focus of my work now, is because I believe that when we're touched by the divine, I believe that when the spark of light within us is ignited, we get it. We just get it on another level. And then I believe that we choose to walk differently in this world. I believe we choose to be kinder, more tolerant, more compassionate. I believe that we will pick up the garbage that we see on the road, or we won't throw it there to begin with. I believe that we'll treat animals more, much more consciously. I ask most people to please stop eating animals for a million reasons, but we would think about things, because we're going to show up differently, because we're going to feel different, because we have experienced the divinity we are and the divinity that is all around us.
Wow. You know, Ariel, you're so good at answering questions that you answered like the first 4 questions.
I know. I'm sorry. This is my passion.
Love that.
It's my passion.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful. It doesn't even need prompting. It simply spills out.
Right.
That's how you know the
Yeah.
authentic sharing of the soul. It simply
Mm-hmm.
pours out. So tell us, I have a question for you before you tell us more about what you're looking for in the contributing stories, because we're
Mm-hmm.
inviting everyone to write these books with us. That's what I love about this. We're inviting everyone who has these mystical experiences to write these books with us. I want to find out, how did you go from being a sergeant in the Marines to being a mystic and a conscious businesswoman who now has a Sacred Stories publishing and media, this huge publishing company and media company. How did that
Yeah.
happen?
Yeah, right. Who would have thunk it?
Yeah.
I would say, it's life. Life happened. I know Valerie, but I mean, I'm currently in my sixth decade in this incarnation, I'll say, right? And so a lot of life already lived, and it really wasn't until I really pretty much a um, you know college, marriage, kids, work, soccer mom, all of that, a pretty all American type of lifestyle to a great degree. And I always kind of thought, I think that there has to be more. I feel like there's more. I always felt like something else was brewing, but I honestly couldn't tell you what it was. And right before I turned 50, I had one of those major life events that many of us are experiencing, where I think when we're not really maybe listening and we're kind of just shoving that voice within us that keeps wanting to come up and say, wait, listen to me. I have something I want to say. The universe helps us. I believe my angels help me, the animals help me, and they just kind of took my life, turned it all up around, spun me around a few times, and landed me on my head, and basically on my bedroom floor, and just a heap of tears for a period of time, saying, what the heck is going on, and who am I, and where do I go from here? And so I started to reach out because I needed help. And I knew that I was raised Roman Catholic. I knew that my religious foundation, that's what it was. It was a foundation that I had faith that there was something greater than me, but it wasn't enough to get me through what I was experiencing. And I just started reaching out. I reached out. I've always had a deep belief in the angels, even though I haven't had necessarily maybe tangible experiences with them to that point. And, they say be careful what you ask for, because the animals started showing up. And I didn't even know what was happening at first. I have had so many mystical experiences with animals. I've had a live bat in my bedroom 3 different times, literally over the course of like 2 years, hovering directly above my face, waking me up with its wings, like
Yeah,
on my
that when you
cheeks.
told me that, I was just
Yeah,
shocked because I would have had a heart attack if I wake up to a
yeah, yeah. I almost did. I almost did have a heart attack. It was kind of bringing in like the before event when things were kind of going downhill, during, and then the transformation afterwards. But things started happening. I had to start paying attention. And so I started seeking. And that's why I'm an ordained interfaith minister, because I wanted information, and I started seeking and experiencing a lot of different spiritual experiences. And that just, I took that deep dive off the cliff, as they say, at one point, and just said, I'm all in. I have to follow my soul. And that's what I will do. And it's now been 10 years. And it's interesting because about 5, 6, 7 years ago, this whole name like Sacred Stories dropped in. And I just knew that I was to call my company or me or whatever the heck we were doing. I wasn't even sure at the time, Sacred Stories. And but I didn't really know why. I knew I was a sacred storyteller, but it still just didn't seem like the right a complete answer until Common Sentience really started being shown to me, and kind of all roads lead to Common Sentience that I can see in my life, including the name of the company, Sacred Stories. It's just so divinely perfect. So I would say to anybody listening, not that I would wish, the universe to take you up and twirl you around and shake you up and dump you on your head. But if it does, You're not alone, and there's some beautiful gifts in there for you to start uncovering once you get through all the crap.
It's very fascinating. I love hearing these sacred stories of how we come home to source and doing our sacred work on the planet. I love that because many of us were a sergeant in the military. I was a financial advisor. Many are doctors. They're, professors. We're doing all these things, and we were pouring our soul essence into those things.
Yeah.
Yet there was something greater. There was something great, and that all those things kind of added to who we
Yep.
are. We were going to use that. Being,
Absolutely.
yeah, use that
Yeah,
in our
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, and even the things that we don't use, they shape us or inform us in a way that I'm still discovering connections and things that, and then I think, but I also believe that we have multiple purposes in this life. I don't believe that we have one grand purpose that we have to fulfill. I believe that we are multidimensional beings of light, and we do a lot of things at the same time. And so I also think that what's really important, if little off topic, but I think it's important to share, is that it's not that off topic. It's all of it matters. You know what I mean? So I speak to so many people through the years that they're searching for that one big thing they're supposed to do, or that one big purpose they're supposed to do, or what they're supposed to be finding. And I would say it all matters. It all matters. And it all doesn't matter just because it's leading you somewhere. It matters just because it matters. It matters because at that point in time, it had an effect on you and those around you, and you literally changed the world. And so we're that important. And so honor all of it, enjoy all of it. And when you see the connections and you see where it leads and how they I say all roads lead to common sentience for me at the moment. That's awesome. That's great. But that's just a piece of it. It's all important.
It is. It's so important. So now I would love to know a little bit about what you're looking for because we have a call for stories. So you have this incredible media publishing and media company called Sacred Stories Publishing. And in this incredible, you're the first publisher I've signed. I kept telling my audience, I said, this is the first publisher that I've signed on with that gets me, that knows what to do, that the alignment is perfect. I have not signed a publishing deal since 2006 with my very first publisher. Ever since then, everything has been published in-house with my own publishing. We have like a boutique publishing company that just pretty much publishes my own books, Butterfly Rising Publishing. This, Ariel, you did it. You are the one. So, how did you come to create not just Sacred Stories publishing and media as a conscious businesswoman, but how is the Common Sentience book series sitting in this larger umbrella? Because so we can get a real picture of it as you have it in your mind, so we can understand the vision.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, the vision, well, for Common Sentience, the vision is that the books will be in every household around the world, that it will become a common name, right? So just like people know some other recognizable books or works, they will know Common Sentience, and they will find their path, or they will expand their awareness through these books, that even if they're entry points, and whether or not you are stepping your toes into the spiritual or mystical waters, or you have been on the path for your life, these books still hold some really powerful medicine and a really powerful information for you, because not only does it provide wisdom, it provides deepening next level consciousness that the wisdom teachers are bringing in the third part. But it's also providing the experiences, and the experience is the biggest teacher. And so you will see yourselves, you will get the ahas, you will get the heart will open, you will receive so much from reading these books. And so my vision is that this really does become the cornerstone, honestly, of what Sacred Stories and the people involved can bring to our world, that they become that important, because I see that I see that vision. I see that vision. I see it, and I know even from the first 5 books, I just have to hold them up. The first 5.
Ooh, could you show them to us
Just
in
hold
real
them
life?
up.
I haven't seen them
Um,
in real life. I've only seen them
so
online.
here, yeah. So here's Animals by Dr. Stephen Farmer, and you should be able to, like, you'll start seeing the series. I'll
I'm
show
going
them
to
to
be on
you in
his
order.
podcast. He reached out to me for me to be on his podcast, and I love it. And we will have him on the show too.
He's awesome. Stephen is so incredible. I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to work with all of these beautiful beings. Meditation by Sister Dr. Jenna, and she
Yes,
just takes.
Sister Jenna.
This is Sister Jenna. You can see Sister Jenna's picture. She is. She really does take meditation to another level. She is one of those people that just embodies. She just embodies peace. And Sister Jenna, I would just tell
Meditation.
you, Sister Jenna is a Brahma Kumari. She's been running the Washington, D.C. branch of Brahma Kumaris for 25 years. She has American Meditating Museums, radio,
Yeah,
everything.
the Meditation Museum in DC. Yeah.
Yep, she is the most like grounded, like peaceful, like she's just incredible. Sister Jenna, and I noticed when we had her as a in our magazine, so she has already told her story. Sister Jenna used to be like Jenny on the Block. Sister Jenna used to own 2 nightclubs in Miami and South
You
Beach.
have got to be kidding me. There's no
No,
way.
I absolutely no, I'm not kidding. She had the car, she had the clothes, she had 2 of the most popular nightclubs in South Beach, and
Good.
her mother joined the Brahma Kumaris, similar to kind of your story, right? She was kind of introduced, but she's like, yeah, that's not for me. That's not for me. That's not for me. She knew all the different sisters, and one time she was finally drawn to go to the Brahma Kumaris in India. And she tells the story about how she went into the hall, and one of the services was starting, and one of the sisters started talking, and Sister Janet just said she just was like, tried to get up because she was like, I can't do this. I can't do
I
this.
can't do
And
this. I got to get back to my clubs in Miami.
I got to get back. Like, this isn't feeling comfortable, right? And the sister started speaking, and Sister Jenna was just like, it was like whoosh, like I just sat right down, and for 5 hours I sat there. Just 5 hours, and it changed her entire life. And from that point, she changed. So we lovingly refer to her, she refers to herself as Jenny on the Block, to Sister Dr. Jenna of the Brahma Kumari. So talk about a sacred story and the
That
work
is
she's doing
incredible.
today.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's incredible. And then we have Nature, which is Ana Maria Vasquez. And I actually have a story in here about when the Stones at Pots and Pans in outside of Manchester, England, their messages and when they spoke to me. So if you're interested in stone beings, there's lots of cool stories in there. Angels, I call them my A team, Trisha McCannon. And not only do you learn like how angels appear to you and so forth, Trisha really goes into the 9 orders of angels. She actually shares some really incredible historical angelic accounts, real ones. Like, who knew George Washington was visited by angels? I
Oh, really?
didn't. So
Okay.
I didn't know. Joan of Arc, I didn't
Oh,
know. Saint Francis of,
yes.
yeah, Saint Francis of Assisi. I didn't know
Yes.
he was an angel. Yeah, but like really, so it's, and also incredible angelic stories. And then there's guides, our very newest one. This is about soul guides. And Marilyn O'Leary, really, she's a master teacher, and she really takes it to, talking about the cosmos and the planets and the moon, right? How the moon can be your guide, and not just that the moon is symbolic, but the moon is actually your guide, and you can interact with the moon. If the moon is looking at you, if you're looking at the moon is looking at you. It's really the idea of where your attention goes, the connection is made, and everything is sentient. And so Marilyn really takes it to another level too, like explaining what guides are. So these first 5 books are available now. Ancestors, Shamanism, Ascension, Sound are all next. And the call for stories for the next 5 is is up, and I know that we want to talk about that. So
That's what we want to find out. So, what are you looking for in these last few minutes? Because I know you've given us 30 minutes this morning, so we got to honor
yes,
your time. So, what are you looking for in these stories? When people are
yes. So
watching,
the
and you're watching, family, you can write your story in the book free of charge. If you want to be a featured
yep.
author, you can also take that investment. So, what are you looking for when you ask for these stories?
Yeah. So these are true, personal, first person stories, 800 to 2,200 words. It's not this very long essay. It has to be your true story, though. And it's about a mystical experience that you have had with one of the book topics. So for your book, it would be an experience as a witch. And the experience can be so if you scroll down just a little bit, so you'll see the five. So if you've had an experience with the Akashic Records or with the Muse, which is a divine spark, I know you're going to have Ash on your show talking about what the Muse is. Prayer. Temple Hayes is a unity minister and a shamanic practitioner. She takes prayer. She's going to take prayer to the full spectrum of what prayer really is. If you've had prayerful moments that the divine has moved through you, we want to know them. 1111, 444, butterflies and feathers and repetitive symbols and signs that come to you. It's a book with Simran Singh. I believe your audience is familiar with Simran. And then obviously a witch, the experiences of a witch. Valerie, you so beautifully explained it as the ancient call of the goddess, right? So, if the goddess has called you, if you are a keeper and a tender, as Valerie says, of the ancient ways, like tell us, share those experiences. So on our website, we have a submission guidelines. We really give a lot of writing tips. We give a lot of information about kind of what we're looking for, but we ask you to, right. So if you just go where it says click for submission right there, or that to the right, click for submission guidelines, we give all kinds of information, and then we actually give writing tips below that. So if you're like, how should I start or whatever, we give you some writing tips, and we explain a little bit about the book cover. So the website is chock full of information. We think we've covered everything you could possibly ask. But if you have a question, you can always email stories at sacredstories.com. The email's at the bottom of the screen. But it's what we're looking for is your experience. So you can frame the experience, so give us context, but then really kind of take us through your mystical experience, because we want the world to know, right? That you talk about as a witch coming out of the broom closet. I've been saying for a long time, the last closet for us to come out of is the spiritual closet, right? It's time to kind of step into our authentic nature and loudly and proudly and confidently and authentically share our experiences. I mean, we're having them. We might as well share them, and so we invite you to come sit in our sacred circle. We invite you to the sacred circle and to tell us your story.
And I love that every conversation I've had with you, Ariel, you've talked about the circle, that there is no one who is better or less than anyone else, that we're in a circle, we're together, and this is
Yes.
collective. I love
Yes.
that.
We are in a circle. Everyone is welcome. You are the wisdom teacher holding the circle. And I feel very strongly about, and I feel that the people that are coming on to the Common Sentience series, the authors that are saying yes, like yourself, like Ash, like Sister Jenna, like the other featured authors, they are true deep wisdom teachers, right? It's not just, and you have a way of sharing the information that is relatable and also deep and profound. So we're taking the guru down from the mountain, but we're putting him in the circle, because I do believe that the wisdom, the understanding, I believe that's really foundational and important for us to go deeper on our own. We can't just be swimming in waters and not have any context of what we're getting into. Experiences are powerful, and then but framing it with the wisdom is, I think, the piece to it that makes this series so special, takes it way beyond just an anthology style series, and I think is really what will give everyone the full mystical experience for them, in their lives.
I love that. I love that. So, Reverend Ariel Patricia, the brave, the mystic, and the brave businesswoman who is putting courageous or heart-based businesswoman who is putting the book Prayer in the same series with Little Witch. That
Absolutely.
is magnificent.
Hmm.
Absolutely. So thank you so
Absolutely.
much, Ariel, for stopping by this morning. We're going to have quite a few of the authors on. As you know, behind the scenes, we are connecting with all the authors in the series, and many of them have said yes already. We have dates to either pre-record or to have them on live. I'm so happy you came and joined us live from Thailand. Any closing words you want to share with everyone, with the family?
Oh, I just want to say thank you to you, Valerie, for showing up as your beautiful, authentic self. And I want to say thank you to all of your audience and listeners, and all of the practicing witches in the audience. Because as I told this to Valerie, she already knows this before, but I truly, truly believe that for us to bring balance, for us to bring wholeness, for us to bring the feminine firmly back into our world, we must reclaim the witch. We must honor the witch to do that. Without the witch, we're not complete. We're still living with a little bit of fear of stuff we don't want to talk about. So the work that you're doing, Valerie, is simply so critical, and the work that your audience and the courage that they all have to show up, because claiming your inner witch is not easy in today's world, but it will be much easier once now that you're all here, and I truly believe with witch and prayer and everything else standing side by side.
That is beautiful. And a big nod to your work is from Dia, who says, wow, I have followed over half of these authors for more than a decade now. It's awesome to see them all in this one project together. Thanks for all you do, Reverend Ariel. Reverend Ariel, thank you so much. Love you.
Thank you.